Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. As I said, only 3 series on a channel at a time. So here's a new one for Anime King 2. Also, if you guys want to support the channel and myself, my PayPal will be in the description. So thank you very much. I got this idea some time ago and I wrote out a script for it. Sorry it took me this long to release it, but you know yourself. The idea is, what if Naruto was born in the heart of a dying star? If you want part 2 of this, just get this one to 100 likes as soon as possible, and I'll be posting part 2 as soon as possible as well. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels if you're new. Yes, I indeed have 3 more channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down in the description, so without further ado or wasting more time, let us begin this now guys. The universe is a paradox. It is vast, seemingly infinite, and yet capable of compressing the most powerful truths into a single spark. Stars are not just furnaces of light, but wombs of possibility. And sometimes, when the cosmos bend in strange ways, a star can do something unbelievable. In the farthest reach of existence, a colossal sun was reaching its end, cracking like glass, storms of plasma tearing across its body, its final breath shaking the very fathom of space-time around it. Normally, a dying star would collapse or explode, but this one was different in many different ways. It had lived longer than most, drinking the energy of passing celestial bodies, its core thickened with ancient memories. And from this core of unimaginable heat and gravity, something impossible was conceived. A true phenomenon, a paradox. It started with a heartbeat, and then a cry. It was a child. The possibility, it should be impossible. But here it is, from a dying star. New life, in a way that should never be conceived. Wrapped in raw, solar fire, the star shaped life, not from flesh, but from pure fusion, warping cosmic dust, light, and gravity into a form. The universe itself seemed to hesitate for a moment, as if it was startled by its own creation. Not a god, not a monster, not a weapon, but a child who was born from the very heart of this paradox. But the dying star could not hold him forever. Its last, final act, it bent reality around him, shaping a cradle of light. Like an arrow created from the bow of galaxies, the newborn was flung across the cosmos. It was brighter than comics, faster than thought. Entire civilization saw it pass over them. As it swooped through the cosmos, he passed through, wrapped in the last warmth of his parents' remains, the dying star. Perhaps it was destiny. Perhaps it was fate. The child found himself at an unknown planet, nestled away from many others. It was known as the Elemental Nation, where he plummeted. And that is where the story truly begins. The child that was born from the dying star. Unfortunately though, it would not start with a happy ending. He would not be raised in an environment of love and happiness. Boom! It crash landed. They all believed that they were being attacked. However, the lowlife, the thugs, mercenaries, as they all swarm, coming out with their weapons, ready to fight, they saw a crater and no enemies in sight. They moved towards the center to see exactly what was going on. Stepping out was a very short man wearing a hat, glasses, walking with a cane. His name was Gateau. This man was a business typhoon. People saw him as an upstanding individual. Well, some, because of his shipping business that helped a lot of people. But that was just a cover to keep his name clean, because under the scenes, he was a ruthless warmonger that controlled so much due to drugs trafficking. But he always tried to keep his name clean to the surface. After all, his main thing was survival. He wouldn't be able to spend his money if he was dead. Gato was panicking at first. After all, his true face was a coward. He just had money. Unfortunately for them though, well, the few that stepped up first, the moment they got close enough, the dying embers of the celestial cradle that was around him immediately incinerated those that got too close. 5 of them. They were simply erased. Gato shouted for them to arm themselves immediately. His other man, believing that whatever this was, it was attacking. However, that proved useless as the cries of a baby could be heard. They were stopped from stepping closer though, not wanting the same thing to be done. Minutes turned into hours. Gato couldn't take it anymore, forcing them to investigate. Luckily for them, they were safe. One of them went down and came back up, holding a child in his arms. Gato stepped forward, curious and intrigued. Time skip. At the beautiful village, the hidden leaf, we find a young girl, completely serious. Her gaze matched with another kunoichi. Time seemed to pause as the both of them stared at one another. The moment they were given the go-ahead, the kunoichi across from her dashed forward, but the young redhead waited. She saw the fist come into her face. She tilted herself to the right. She knocked the leg away. She then grabbed the hand and flipped the person, causing them to fall flat on their face. She then proceeded to pin her to the ground. And just like that, the match was over. She stood proudly, gazing down. Her name was Mito, Namikaze. She had long red hair, blue eyes, 3 whisker marks on both of her cheeks. The classroom erupted with cheers as she stood there. Currently, 10 years old, having just best another. She was at the academy. She was quite popular and it shows. Well, she wasn't any normal individual. Moments later, she arrived home to the rather large home to see her mother in the kitchen. She smiled. Her mother turned and faced her, her stomach showing that she was with child. She was Kushina Uzumaki, mother of Mito Namikaze. A long time ago, at Mito's birth, tragedy struck. Kushina did not think that she would be here today, but here she was. And that was because of the sacrifice that was made by Hiruzen Sarutobi. The sacrifice that he made, giving his life so her husband could live, who proceeded to seal the entire form of residue chakra around the area within her. It was touch and go there, but she survived. And thus the Namikaze family lived, and they were expecting soon enough another addition to the family. Mito smiled. She had a good life, told early about the burden that she carried, but it was a burden that she would control, a burden that she would master. Nothing would hold her back, nothing would hold her down. She saw how much people were still grieving. She saw their pain, she saw their anguish. Despite, it wasn't her fault. She wanted to make it up to them by being the greatest kunoichi that she could ever be, succeeding her father to become the greatest female Hokage ever and the first of her kind. At the office, Minato was looking over. Graduation already. It was early, quick, but he was a man known for being quick in many different things. Over the years, he's done a lot. Quell the rage that the Uchihas were gathering in their soul. He stripped power away from some of the, less desirable part of the village that was using said power for their own benefit. Stripping power away from the elders as well. They were no longer as powerful as they once were. That allowed him to remain as the main talking point, allowing the Uchihas to remain within the center. After all, they were a part of this village much like everyone else. It caused their attitude to show. With the villagers, the contentment, the rage. Then again, Minato saw it with his own eyes. The man that he faced on that night, he wasn't from this place. He was powerful, there was no doubt about that. Dangerous as well. The frightening conclusion that he was indeed Madara Uchiha was still shaking Minato to his very core. And he could not teleport to him. He somehow got rid of his seal. Whoever they are, they're powerful. The thought that he was indeed Madara was still bothering him. Those who needed to know were quite aware. Minato paused as he saw a report. Jiraiya had came by not too long ago. There were talks within the elemental nation. It was someone. It was often that a big name rise within the while, but it did not take too long for that name to be snuffed out. However, people were speaking of a child that glowed like the sun. There wasn't much information that was circulating, but there were whispers, there were words. Whoever this child was, they say that he wasn't anything good. Not in the slightest. It was something worthy keeping an eye on, Minato thought. Meanwhile that was going on, there was a massive boulder blocking the path, having fallen down. The group of men that were there, they did not possess what it takes to move the boulder, so they moved aside. A boy, seeming to be 11 years old, that was around the age range that he was right now, stepped forward. He had bright blonde hair that seemed to stick upwards like a fire, constantly flowing. His eyes were truly spectacular. The both of them seemed like miniature suns, glowing and glistening. You can even see the fluctuation like a sun-hot spot. He placed his hand on the boulder as he reached and dig his finger into it and proceeded to lift it clear over his head before he tossed it straight downwards. Nothing was said as he continued to walk. They were close by as well. Amongst the group, short yet powerful, Gateau. Gateau has done well for himself in the past couple of years. Very well. When this boy fell into his facility, that was where it started. Gateau, curious, very so. He decided to keep him around, believing that he was a gift from the heavens. He needed a name though. Luckily, he was reading a book not too long ago. He was rather interested in the Ichi Ichi Paradise series. He loved those books. But the author wrote another book. But this one wasn't anything related to the Ichi Ichi Paradise series. But there was a name in there though, of the main character. It was Naruto. He decided to name the boy that. By the time he was 3 years old, that is when Gateau saw it. This child shall be his salvation. He was powerful. At a young age, he did not understand human limits. His hugs were too strong. His flames were too hot. His presence was too overwhelming. He had abilities that Gateau has never seen before, and weaknesses as well. One thing that he was weak against was the darkness. Yes, he was weak against the darkness. He could also overuse himself. Whenever he flared up too much, it made him become unstable. However, the lack of light, the lack of sun, was also a big problem for him as well. Keeping him away from it resulted in him growing weaker, physically and mentally as well, craving to be free. His strength did not completely go away, but it did diminish a lot. Gateau knew that he was something that he could not control. That was obvious. The boy was far too strong, far too powerful. So he needed to make sure that the boy feared him. Gateau spent a lot of money, bringing in a lot of people that dealt with the mind. People that would do whatever it takes for a huge payday. Gateau had them, tamper with his mind a lot, making him believe that the only thing that in this world he needed was acceptance. An acceptance from him. Gateau did not show any love, any affection on a daily basis. It was rare, and whenever the boy get it, he was overwhelmed by it and happy, because that was the only way that Gateau could keep him in check. He physically could not hold him. He physically could not stop him. But mentally though, he had his people work a lot on the boy mentally to make sure that his mind was seeking of acceptance, seeking of approval. Even now, he could tear through the lot of them and escape anytime he wants. But his mind never saw it that way. He saw Gateau as a leader. He saw him as the one that was leading the pack, a wolf mentality. And the beta does not step up to the alpha. From what they got, when he was younger, his mind was really susceptible, even for a child. So that was perfect. And Gateau has used him well over the past couple of years. He could do some truly magnificent stuff. He produced flames, but these were not like any flames. On further research, it was plasma. They did not burn like your average flames. They simply go on, untouchable. There was also the gravity as well. Gato did not know this, but born from the heart of the star, Naruto subconsciously manipulate gravity. In the beginning, this was a problem. He could make objects slightly lighter and heavier around him in the beginning. However, now he had so much more control, crushing people, lifting people, doing all sorts of things. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, the very tip. And Gato has been utilizing his gifts for the longest time now, using him to conquer 40% more of the underground workings. In the beginning, he was at what? Say 9%? Now, over the past couple of years, he's grown. It didn't seem like much, but it was a lot, because this was the entire world. And Gato had 49% under his control, aiming for the 100%. So anything that was going on underground, they would have to go through him. Gato was working perfectly, mentally, to ensure that he kept this boy in line, to ensure that he kept him in check. He was his ultimate weapon after all, and anyone that come after him, well, they will face his wrath. Time skip. Due to what he's been doing over the past couple of years, many people were after his head, as many had sent many to kill him. At the moment, Gato sat calmly as the door to the facility opened up. Well, not exactly open, it was sliced right through by a strange weapon, glowing with a form of electricity that was so pure and undiluted. Stepping in was a green hair, dark-eyed individual. His name was Aoi Rokusho, missing nin from Konoha who stole the Thunder God Blade. Someone had sent him to end Gato's life. The amount was simply too much to pass up. Doesn't matter the threats that Gato had behind him. Aoi Rokusho was a very powerful individual with that blade in his hand. He stepped in with a smirk. You know, usually, this is a time where my opponents tend to run away, especially those that does not possess any form of ninjutsu or any power to boot. Gato was smiling. Well, I suppose you're right. On the other hand, I do have something for you. You aren't the first and you're not going to be the last. I know that you were coming. You think that you snuck in here by yourself. You think that you got past my security. Or perhaps you were just too cocky to believe that, even if there was someone in here, you would handle them. Well, I am powerful, Aoi said. And with this weapon, your death is certain. And all that money on your head will be mine soon enough. Well then, why don't you go ahead and kill me? With pleasure. Aoi crossed the distance in a moment, swinging the blade only for it to be blocked by a blade that was similar to his. However, this blade was made purely from plasma. Aoi gazed into Naruto's eyes. Immediately, he jumped away. The overwhelming sensation from just a look alone startled Aoi. What the hell is that, brat? He said. Never seen a look like that before in a brat's eyes. So that's it, he said, trying to pretend like he wasn't startled. That's your protection. He's all the protection I truly need. It's just nice to have an army, Gato said. You fool. Aoi dashed forward, intending on ending Naruto's life, but Aoi was surprised when Naruto stepped in his guard. Immediately he spun around, quickly blocking Naruto's strike. He's fast. They blitz across the entire place, Gato sitting there confidently. Aoi was sent sailing into the broken door by a single punch. He looked perplexed, shocked, because he did not see it. When did he hit me? Aoi said as he looked up. He rolled away as Naruto Plasma's sword went through the ground like there was nothing there. It just went right through it. Aoi got back to his feet, funneling more power into his weapon, the lightning surging even more. He went around Naruto in a circle before activating a technique. Ninja art, he said. After image wave. There was so much of him surrounding Naruto. The real one appeared behind Naruto and strike, only for Naruto to grab the blade with his hand. Aoi was startled, shocked. The blade was purely condensed lightning energy, so this made no sense. He saw the flame flickering across Naruto's fingers, but they did not look like any normal flame. Naruto then slashed right through his blade, literally burning through lightning. For the split second that Aoi chose to let the shock overwhelm his ninja senses, Naruto stepped in his guard once again and placed a hand against his stomach. Despite being so close, when Naruto thrust his hand forward, Aoi was shot like a rocket, blasting through the wall, crashing outside. Naruto turned towards Gateau. What are you waiting for? Send them a message. Gateau said as Naruto leaped, jumping through the hole. Gateau then got up and made his way towards the handle that was left on the ground of the special blade that Aoi was wielding, and he smirked. On the outside, Aoi was coughing up blood as he tried to crawl away. Without his blade, he felt less dangerous than before, and now he was terrified as he tried to get out of there as fast as he possibly can. However, hearing the footsteps, Aoi leaned over, waiting until he was close enough. He then pulled his dagger out and struck. Unfortunately though, the dagger paused, inches away from Naruto's throat. Aoi felt the gravity around him quadruple. His hand felt so heavy, he could not stab upwards anymore. How are you doing this? Naruto took the dagger out of his hand. There was no word, no sound. He sliced right through Aoi's throat. The force to do that alone was immense, but he did it so easily. He grabbed the head before it falls and returned back to the building. When Gateau saw it, he smiled as Naruto simply remained quiet. Time skip. He was now 13 years old. As he was basking in the beautiful rays of the sunlight, Naruto was lying on a grassy meadow. There wasn't much in this world that he enjoyed. There wasn't much that he enjoyed doing. But this was one of them. His life was complicated. Naruto knew that without Gateau he had no one. He was the only reason why he was still alive. Gateau told him that he was abandoned. His parents were killed by missing ninjas. This world was ruthless, heartless, filled with monsters. And the only reason why he was alive was because Gateau took pity on him and gave him a purpose, gave him a reason. Naruto had nothing else to do but to repay that purpose every single day, as he's been told on a constant. Why he's here is because of Gateau's will. That is why he's here. So he should be more than grateful. He should be beyond thankful that he was alive. So he did what he was told. He go where he was told. He protect who he was meant to protect. He served under Gateau as who he is, and nothing else, and nothing more. That was his life, and Naruto does not see that changing, because he doubt there was anything else out there for him. But he enjoyed this. The full scope of his abilities had yet to truly be revealed. However, his strength grows along with his age. Naruto was interrupted by one of Gato's men. There was somewhere he needed to be. Naruto got up. Time skip. Gateau had more people under his employment, such as Zabuza, Haku, the Demon Brothers. He sent Naruto off to handle a business for him. While that was going on, the bridge builder managed to escape. Thus, it was time that Gateau eliminate him. The Land of Wave was just another part of his growing, expanding business. Due to the sea area surrounding it, it was the perfect place to use for a majority of his shipments. That was a very loose terms. After all, there was many things being shipped. Thus, he decided to call in the others. After all, Naruto was his pride and joy, his secret weapon. It wasn't something that he would use every single day. As for the others though, they were expendable, and if they decide to move against him, Naruto would turn them into dust. So he feared not a single one of them. So with that, Naruto was sent out. The group that was still protesting, the group that was still standing up to Gateau, it only took a couple of hours. 90% of their forces were eliminated. The rest 10% was sent back to send a message as Gateau wanted. They wouldn't be raising a voice anymore. They wouldn't be talking up anymore. However, Naruto came across someone that he wasn't expected. He knew this person from Gateau though, who kept him informed, kept him well aware. But he was not expecting to see the person here. But they seemed to be aware of him though. What's your name, kid? Naruto paused, not saying anything. Jiraiya, the great Sanin of the village, has been tracking the rumors, the clues, which led him here. Jiraiya had just came from that building moments after Naruto leave. He saw what was there, the remains, the carnage, the one-sided massacre. Not much of a talker. Well, I guess I'm the opposite of that. I love to talk, said Jiraiya, stepping forward. He saw the look in Naruto's eyes. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. After all, as far as I know, those people inside could be criminals, he said, looking at Naruto, checking for an emotional response, a reaction. Finally, Naruto spoke. What do you want? So you do talk, said Jiraiya, smiling at Naruto. You know, I've been studying your little work, Jiraiya said, slowly walking around and watching Naruto. The people that you've killed, they're all tied up in some really shady crap. While many might believe that you're just a homicidal maniac, I have the connection to see the truth. I've also got some information from the survivors that your strings are being pulled. That is what drew my attention. I realized that you're just a child being manipulated to lay waste to someone's enemies. I've done a lot of research on the subject, he said. I've heard about the recent rise in Gateau's wealth. The moment Jiraiya said that, Naruto's hand was in front of his face. The Sanin immediately knocked it to the side. The condensed heat energy reduced the trees behind him to dust. Jiraiya jumped away. Touch a word, he said. Naruto was gone though. He looked down and jumped back. The ground erupted in a massive inferno, but this wasn't any normal flame. Jiraiya felt it, the sensation to devour his flesh. He kept his guard up as smoke filled the area. He spread through hand sign, slamming his hand down, summoning a swamp. Naruto was stuck behind him. Damn, he's fast, Jiraiya said, as he caught him, but the sheer fact that Naruto cleared the distance already. Naruto started to sink. Jiraiya standing on top of his swamp. Unfortunately for him though, the next moment, it started to change. The density, the material. He jumped away from it. As Naruto was above him, he brought his leg down. Jiraiya's first instinct was to block, but he felt something off. He pulled back as Naruto's leg passed him. The amount of force that was behind it was startling. The Sannin sped through hand sign as his hair wrapped around Naruto tightly, restraining his arms, restraining his legs, keeping him still in mid-air. He got the brief 3 seconds that he needed. He slammed a seal on Naruto's stomach. Naruto collapsed on the ground, his body stiffened, strange markings coming all over him, restraining him. Jiraiya landed. You know, no one sent me after you. Usually, people like you tend to disappear after a while. It's a rather unforgivable world out here. But I took interest in your case, Jiraiya said. After all, your strings are being pulled. Because I believe you're just a normal kid that is being used. Don't bother, he said. You can't break out of that. Trust me, you're gonna need a lot more to... Jiraiya was cut off. Naruto punched him in the face. The blow. In slow motion you can see the force. The Sannin was sent spiraling, traveling, crashing through everything behind him. When Jiraiya finally came to a stop, blood leaked out of his mouth, along with a tooth as well, more than one. Jiraiya took several deep breaths, his back in agonizing pain. How in the world did he break out of that seal? He let his guard down, and he paid for it. His face was swollen. That is when Jiraiya saw them. Dozens of spears, made from plasma. The Sannin leap, jump and dodge, using his hair to swing himself upwards. He landed on a tree branch. As he saw Naruto gazing up towards him, Naruto plunged both of his hands into the earth. Jiraiya looked around as he focused on the ground. That is when he saw it. 2 massive arms made from the same energy as the spears. The Sannin leaped and ran up the tree, jumping to the highest point as the tree was crushed together, erased completely. He flipped in mid-air and went through hand sign, releasing a powerful water stream that washed Naruto away down below. Well, that was the purpose, but instead, Naruto burned right through it, the water immediately evaporating. Well, I guess that's not gonna work, Jiraiya said, not wanting to kill the child, but he was far more dangerous than he thought, and far stronger than he believed. Jiraiya noticed something though. Throughout their battle, the lack of conversation, it was a word. Naruto sped towards him. Why do you want to kill me? Naruto paused, looking at Jiraiya. Is it because I mentioned Gateau's name? I never said I was going to go after him. Is that the reason you want me dead? Naruto looked at the man curiously. Naruto's eyes were special. Very, very special. He could see the heat coming from a person, their movements through their Well, by the reaction, Naruto could tell. Despite his relaxed state, he was fully aware, fully ready to make a move. However, it was a question. No one has ever asked him that question before. They scream, they beg, but they never asked him why. The second part as well. Naruto thought that he would go after Gateau. Then what do you want, said Naruto, if it is not to get in his way? So he is the one pulling your strings. Do not waste my time with your foolish conversation, Naruto said. Come on, you're just a child. You shouldn't be doing any of this. Can't you see that he's a monster? Watch your mouth, said Naruto. Jiraiya saw it. It was through the interaction. This wasn't just loyalty. There was something there. A stronger component. Compulsion, control. Who is he to you? Is he your father? Naruto created another spear made from plasma. I'm not here to fight you like I said, kid. I'm just here to understand. Because you intrigue me. Why? Do you care about me? I'm no one to you. You remind me of myself. Not the whole killing thing, but you seem lost. Just like I've been for the longest time now, he said. That caught Naruto's attention. You are still lost, he said, looking at Jiraiya. Jiraiya held on to that reaction, yes. As old as I am, I'm still missing a few things. And I never seem to truly find them. Is that the way you feel? He questioned. Naruto looked at him for a long time. He shouldn't be here anymore. His job was done. Leave me alone, said Naruto. Wait, said Jiraiya. He tried to step forward, but Naruto's entire body was blanketed in a strange light. Jiraiya felt the heat, but it wasn't that intense. The next moment, though, he was gone. The Sannin was curious. Judging by the features, it has to be some unique bloodline that he's never seen before. But there was one thing for certain. The kid wasn't as bad as he seems. And also, if another nation got their hands on him, they would utilize his power in a much wicked way. Time skip. After returning back to his station, he was given information to head to the land of Wave and where the place was located. Naruto set off, making his way. While that was going on, Team 7, Mito, Sasuke, Sakura, and their sensei Kakashi Hatake went on their first mission outside the village. That turns out to be much more dangerous than they thought. However, they continue on. When Gateau came by, after Zabuza's humiliating defeat, he was lined up in bed, covered in bandages, and that snuffy little brat broke his goddamn arm. He was done with them. He was told that Naruto was on his way. A smirk appeared on his face. He would make him annihilate them all. Time skip. Returning back to the home, Kakashi was bedridden. However, it gave them time to prepare, as the threat was not over just yet. Mito has known Sasuke for a long time. Their mothers were close friends. Sakura wasn't much of a fighter, but she was a good teammate. All in all, Mito was comfortable with his team, and things were going well so far. Kakashi had notified them that Zabuza was still alive and will be coming back, so they had to be ready. Sakura was the only one that was laxing in the ninja arts right here. Both of them coming from very powerful backgrounds. They were well versed in more than the tree walking exercise, so that gave Kakashi the opportunity to just make her progress more. However, due to her limited chakra source, It was easy for her to master. So that was good. Team 7 was growing stronger and stronger, preparing for the next time their foes arrived. As for Naruto, this wasn't the first time he arrived to this island, but it was the first time he took this way. Naruto arrived while Mito was by herself. She was training, trying to produce more than 4 chains. Her mother could release at least 10 plus, but she was stuck at 4. The adamantine chain from the Uzumaki. She had awakened it when she was 6 years old. 1 back then, but now she was up to 4. She was growing stronger and stronger. Someone jumped through the foliage. As they landed, she was quite aware that he saw her, but he looked at her like she wasn't even there, as he was looking beyond her. However, he was similar in age, and he caught her attention. "Who are you?" she said. His eyes were unique. His hair was... It was almost like it was on fire. He was so exotic looking. He looked at her, and her red hair. It caught his attention. It was the first red hair that Naruto has ever seen. It was unique. And he noticed the adamantine chains. He stepped towards her. Mito took a step back. Believing that he was about to attack her, she wrapped him in her chains. However, he stood there admiring them. She realized that he posed no threat. She released him. "Next time, don't just walk up on someone like that. At least say something," she said to him. "Now, who are you?" she questioned. "My name is Naruto," he said. He was intrigued by her hair and chains. He wanted to know more. While he doesn't speak a lot, he spoke when he needed to speak. "Well, that's good. I am Mito," she said. "You have really strange eyes." She pointed out the obvious. "They're not bad, unique." "What are those?" he said to her. "Oh, these chains? They're a special trait from my family," she said. "Powerful chains that could ensnare anything, as you just witnessed." He reached out and touched one of them. He held his hand out. The next moment, a chain materialized from his palm, made purely from plasma. "Whoa, how did you do that?" she said. "It is not the same," he said to her. She tried to touch it, but he pulled his arm away, looking at her hand, as she realized that perhaps it would be bad for her skin. He was safe in her. He retracted said chain. Time was getting late though. "Well, it was nice to meet you, Naruto," she said. "I must go." He looked rather odd, like he doesn't know how to express himself. He didn't say goodbye or anything, but he did look at her for a moment more as he made his way off. Naruto made his way, having no reason to harm her. Jiraiya's question affected him more than he thought. Naruto was a very messed up child mentally. Gateau had done a lot on him. However, having Naruto return here would be the sign of change, as Gateau had no idea the mistake he was making or the monster he was unleashing. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But enough for now. Peace.